strippers of Reddit. What do you really think of the people that see you perform? Was male stripper for a bit? My opinion, it's all types for all reasons. Passing judgment on folks generally just makes you less approachable. There are good folks who like gyrating naked people, but are awkward socially and have lots of money. Creepy is still creepy. Considerate is still considerate. Only difference is I'm not wearing pants. Stripper for men or women or both? I'm really curious how it goes down for male strippers. Personally, I didn't have any dudes. Like I mentioned, only there for a short time, but I'd totally dance for dudes if they are good customers. Straight as they come. Unfortunately, dudes who would come for dances would likely be very fun and generous. Gay guys are real nice. I'm not a stereotypically attractive man, but the few times I've been in around a bunch of drunk gay dudes, they make me feel beautiful. I've never been in this situation. I'm about as attractive as an anvil f***ing an egg, but now that you say it, I'm jealous. An anvil? Damn, look at that dummy thick cutie. Anvils are hot. Yeah, I'm female and straight, and I kind of want this experience. I know I'm needy. You want to be an anvil f***ing an egg? Maybe I want to be the egg. Ever think of that? Pounded into oblivion. Hurt. Ex-stripper. The guys that came in and knew the deal were great. Tip the girl on stage. Get a lap dance. Be polite. The worst were the guys that thought they were smarter than the strippers, or that they could somehow game us. Like, one guy I remember went on a whole rant about how smart he was because he could tell it was all fake and the girls weren't really attracted to the men. Yeah dude, you're a genius. Or when they think they're funny by degrading the women. It's not funny, and you're the one that looks bad. Honestly, for the most part one didn't think about the guys much at all. I was on autopilot most of the time, and didn't judge them any more than thinking who looks interested in a private dance, or who was a douchebag I wanted to avoid. Throw away for obvious reasons. My $0.02 is that, if someone wants a good time with a stripper, just be really respectful of boundaries, and remember that they are working. I'm going through a bit of a rough time personally lately, and was at a bachelor party recently. I'm not really a lap dance guy, but one seemed really nice, and I've been needing a little closeness, so I threw caution to the wind, and threw down a few hundred to spend some time in the VIP room. We chatted a bunch. Before she got started, I made sure to ask if everything was okay before proceeding to touch anything, and I said that I just wanted to pay ahead of time and enjoy the fantasy of feeling special and wanted. After my time was up, we cuddled and talked for maybe another 30 minutes. She was legit very nice, and even though I know she was just doing her job, she had a great personality and made me feel special. At the end of the day, I think I was just very respectful, helped define and observed our boundaries, and I was clear with what I needed. Some personal intimacy, even if it was just a fantasy. Maybe this all sounds sad and makes me a loser, but I got what I needed out of that visit. Not every customer there is just looking to grab and grind on you. Some are just sad men that need to feel wanted. When I was leaving, she grabbed me for a hug before I went and told me her real name and her other job, fitness instructor. She invited me out to take some classes with her, though being clear that she didn't want anything non-platonic, which is fine by me. She was just a person that I met briefly once, but it was an encounter that I needed, and it will probably stick with me for a long time. You get your share of creeps, but mostly where I worked a long time ago, a lot of young groups of guys just looking for a good time. Every once in a while you have someone who has too good of a time and gets rowdy and acts like an idiot. Granted, I only work 2 to 3 nights a week. People who dance full time, especially during the day, have a whole different kind of crowd to deal with. But customers are generally all the same, just looking for something to distract them from life for a while. Feels like a lifetime ago that I danced. My husband and I go together now every once in a while to get a private dance for a while, and it's way more fun being on the other side. After over 40 years as an adult, I've only been to a strip club twice. The first time, I was quite sloshed and grabbed the stripper's actually only brushed it with my fingertips. She was way more nimble than drunk me. The girl was so sweet when she just laughed and said, "Down boy." The second time I was sober, and apparently watching naked strangers walk around on the bar you're trying to eat lunch on is only fun if you're drunk. Pretty sure there will never be a third time, unless a lot of free pizza is involved. You went there to eat lunch? What? I don't think I've had so many replies on a comment, and this is a fairly low ranked comment. Damn, you guys love your strip club food. Almost makes me want to move to the US. There are a few clubs locally that actually had good food, though I haven't been to any of them in a while. Ranges from burgers and fries, wings, and such. One place considered a bit more upscale actually had some pretty good steaks. Here in Portland we have the world's only vegan strip club. Also, instead of selling singles for you to tip the girls, they give you $2 bills, which is next door to an excellent steakhouse, for the money, strip club. It's kinda weird they opened a vegan strip club next door to the well-known steakhouse strip club. Apparently there was a bit of a feud going, which the vegan club started. The steakhouse built a fence. Generally depends on what kind of customer that person is really. The best kind is a dude who understands that it is all a game. They tip well, they are sociable and polite, may even be regulars with certain girls, and are never a problem. The entire club staff loves guys like this. The ones that the dancers hate. The "I don't pay for dances" guy who thinks that line will somehow make him desirable for dancers. Captain Save a Ho. His trademark line goes something like, "You are too beautiful / smart / amazing to be doing this. If you get with me, you can leave this behind." The pimps that go around asking the girls if they want to make some real money are real pieces of as well. Then there was the ones that I really had a personal dislike for. The dudes who would try and wait in the parking lot at the end of the night because Cinnamon and I really had a connection, you know. She told me to wait for her. No, she didn't, buddy. If Cinnamon told you that, she did so knowing that I would be kicking everybody out of the parking lot before the dancers left for the evening. The strip club industry is a weird place. Source: longtime strip club bouncer. Strip clubs have a way of bringing all of a person's craziness to the surface. I had a friend I thought was a normal dude, but when we went to the strip club he was a fucking weirdo and was convinced the girls were all into him and was possessive over them when he'd never met any of them before. It was the first time I realized he had some major issues, and many years later he was arrested for firing a gun into the air at a strip club. This dude's setting himself up for a lifetime of rage and disappointment. That's pretty much how it's worked out for him. Amazing. Now he's probably the guy on Twitch who has a certain favorite streamer, gives her a bunch of money, and then flips her shit when he finds out she's married, lol. Ex-stripper here. Of course I encountered all different types, but I'm here to mention one type in particular, my favorite. There were a lot of customers who were lonely or didn't have anyone to talk to who would really listen to them. They figured out that they could come in and pay for company. I would sit at the table with one of my regulars for a few hours and just talk. I made a point of showing that I valued them as a person and was genuinely interested in their conversation. He knew that he was taking up my time and every so often would hand me another bill. I didn't pity them. I respected them for figuring out a way to engage with other humans and satisfy their need for connection. Edit again because I'm dense sometimes, and meant the first edit to go on a comment I replied with, "This needs more attention. It's wholesome." Sometimes that's all someone wants / needs. I'm a barber and some of the longer services my club offers I don't do, but some guys book them just so we can sit and talk. People just really want to be listened to now and then. To those being negative and rude in the comments, please take a moment. Take a deep breath in and out, relax your shoulders and jaw, and move on. There are more important things to do than be negative. Bartender here. High five y'all. Underqualified therapists, all of us. Lonely men paying for human conversation. So wholesome. Yup, no cultural shortcomings here, no sir. A man is in a strip club. Which of the choices available to him is the most engaging and human? And you have no idea what those guys' lives are like. So easy to judge. Ex-stripper here. Most of them were cool. We had one old guy named Steve that would get dances from the new girls and whip his out and jizz in their hair. He always had $300 in his wallet that he would hand over before they made him leave. Occasionally a douchebag would come in, but they got handled pretty quickly. I once had a guy hold up a $5 bill and ask what he could get for that. I cheerfully snatched it out of his hand and told him that he could watch my ass as I walked away. Edited for more context as some people are super riled up about the $5. This guy grabbed my As I walked by, I suspected it wasn't the first time he'd done it. I shoved his hand away from my body and told him that if he wanted a dance, they started at $10. He then held up the $5 and asked what he could get for that. His options at that point were pretty much get punched in the by someone, curb stomped on his way out by the guys at the door, or lose $5. I think his friends were relieved as he had been a total all night and he behaved himself after that and no one got kicked out. Would it not be easier to just refuse Steve entirely as the new girl? Like, somebody must tell the girls about the regulars so they can be prepared and or refuse service. Also, why not just refuse the money and tell him that's not how things work? I mean, I feel that would be way less dangerous than literally stealing from somebody, then turning your back to them so you can't see their possible retaliation. It was a weird kind of understanding he had with the management. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I think he was related to the owners, but I was only there for 6 months or so. I don't have the full history of Steve who sat in pervy corner by the DJ booth. Well, I know I definitely take a night out if someone did that to me. $300 isn't gonna cut it, especially since I assume that money didn't go to the girl. I'm honestly surprised nobody killed him for that, especially considering how much alcohol is usually in those establishments. He'd have a hard time fighting back. The dancer kept all of it. That was the deal. So did the dancers know what was going to happen and let him do it, or did he give the $300 up front as a way of saying sorry for what I'm about to do cause they had no idea? The new dancers were given the $411 on this guy and usually thought they could manage it, but he was sneaky. It usually wasn't given up front, but he always paid.